Welcome to Chukchansi language class number 8 on pronouns. Today's class will review target words and start a new story. Kaʔyuʔ Halaʔletaʔ Waʔlaʔan. Coyote lifts up or props up the sky. We'll review our alphabet and vowels that we just completed a big study on in the previous classes. And then we'll get to pronouns. So there's just about 6 pronouns. If you can get them down, it would really help your creating sentences in the future. So we'll try some easy sentences with pronouns and then take a quick spelling test at the end. I always like to give thanks to Dr. Holly Wyatt for all of the materials and learning that she's provided for everyone, as well as the Fresno State team with Nikan, Brian, and Chris for all the grammar that they helped us to create. Also, a thank you to the Picayune Rancheria Language Department with Ted, Michaela, and Dustin. Shauna comes on often for our live language classes and provides a lot of materials that you'll see along with mine. And Dustin also has made some really amazing things also, and is such a great speaker. So sometimes you'll hear them in our activities. A quick review of some rules to keep in mind. Always be encouraging to other learners. Mistakes are okay. It's okay to try things and not be right. You just keep moving on and learning from them. Practice as often as you can. So if you want to replay the video and just echo it, it's really good for you. Make sure that you write how it makes sense to you if you're writing something new and you want to get used to it. Then you can always pick up our standard spelling system as you learn. Use language day to day as best you can. It helps really solidify your learning. Target vocabulary. For this week, we have a word for think, chedmat, and chedmata, and the word for help, omelet, amilta. Say is will it or wilta. Move is wukyat and wukyuta. And always just has one form of the word, and it's holoman. Last week's words were kill, hashawit, and hashawita. The sky is waʔlaʔ and waʔlaʔan. Touch is niwit in niwta. People, yokoch, yokochi. And animals, hogikin and hogigna. As always, I provided a Quizlet, so you can go on Quizlet.com and match up these words. So it'll give you practice just learning them, and it's nice to have a visual to go along with it. And then you can practice matching them in English to Chukchansi or Chukchansi to English, just to make sure you have the words down. And again, it's really good to make sure that you study. It's only 3 to 5 words each week, but by the end of the story, it'll be 20, 25 words. And so it really helps with comprehension in stories when you can have these base words. And often they show up in the story in different forms of words, but at least you have these as like something that you can recognize in your go-to words that have a lot of understanding with them. Make sure you get those target words down. This week, it'll be the new story, Coyote props up the sky, and we say it in Chukchansi, Kaʔyuʔ Halaʔletaʔ Waʔlaʔan. The first part of the story is Hayema Aleph, long ago. The sky, which is a keyword that we learned from the first week, Waʔla, and then the word for and, Amaʔyuʔ. So and, Holki, the earth, Niwishta, so touched each other. So without that wish in there, it would have been niuta, which is that word that we had for this last week as our keyword or our target word. Then the next sentence says, the sky, Waʔla, honteta, was bouncing up and down. Ama, Hogyu, so on the earth. And then earth, instead of just saying Holki, has that W because that's how we address the word for on in English. So it becomes a locative, a location. So we add that W there. Then te naash, yokoch, if any person, so yokuch being the word for person, not ni hogiken, or maybe an animal. Then I have two verbs next to each other. Demenal, anal. So tried to go. Ama, there, or through there. Not ni ama, naash hashawin. They might be killed. So hashawin was our word for killed. Then our story continues with more words for this week. So Kaʔyuʔ Halaʔletaʔ Hin. Coyote for Kaʔyuʔ, and Halaʔletaʔ is the word for to think about. And in this case, we translated it to pondered. And then on this, they thought about this. Hin. Hoyochta amla yokochi. So amla is to help, and then hoyochta is wanted. And you could leave out the word he. So we assume that we're talking about he, and then wanted to help, and then the people, and it's an object form. Instead of yokoch, it's yokochi. Then the next sentence says, he said, so we have ama, wilta, ahomp mai, naash, hunicho, holomen. We can't be like this all the time. And all the time would match with holomen. For might, we say we, and then the can't is ahomp. The next sentence is, the sky should not move. So ahomp, naash, waʔlaʔ. So wukyal is the word for move. And then, of course, you know, waʔla for sky. And then could not or should not would be the naash. And not goes with ahomp. So put it all together. That's what we have for the first part of our story that we're going to look into. And we're going to move on to with the visuals now. This time I'm going to read the whole story in just Chukchansi so you can get a good chunk of just hearing the story in our language. Then I'll go back and do it with translations. Kaʔyuʔ Halaʔletaʔ Waʔlaʔan. Hayema alet Waʔla amayohogi niawishta. Waʔla hontata amahogio. Na ash yokuch nani hogikin demenal tanal ama. Natni aman naash hashawen. Kaʔyuʔ Halaʔletaʔ hin. Hoyoch ta amla yokochi. Amla wilta. Ahomp mai naash hunicho holomen. Ahomp naash waʔla wukyal. Kaʔyuʔ ta'an huto hawitmi mian tishe. Ama Halaʔletaʔ. Chayal na naash jawani hedesha adlen watlao. Potichowich sipin. Halaʔletaʔ. Ahomp na naash chayal hedesha. Nani naash chikna. Naash tishahanal choyen dadachu. It could be taken from a deer's leg. Na machwishta mayen. Mien tanta ama ta wintau. Mien tashi choto. Mien waʔlaʔan hontatau. Chayata chea ama ponoshaan Waʔla lakwenta ama chea. Mien heda potichon waʔlaʔan. Here's the all-English version of the story. Coyote lifts up the sky. A long time ago, the sky and the earth touched each other. The sky was bouncing up and down on the earth. If any people or animals tried to go through there, they might be killed. Coyote thought about this. He wanted to help the people. He said, "We can't be like this all the time. The sky should not move." Coyote knew how he was going to fix it. He thought, "I should put some hard wood under the sky as a holder-upper." He thought, I should not use wood. It could rot." Then he thought, "I should use a bone. It could be taken from a deer's leg." He got it himself. Then he went to where the sun was rising and watched. When the sky bounced up, he put in the bone with his hand. The sky came down on the bone, which is still holding up the sky. Now that we've gone over the full story, we're going to go back and just target our sentences for the week and the vocab and plug it into the story and see if we could figure out where it goes. So the first word that we had in vocab was kill, hashawit, and hashawetaʔ. Hashawit, hashawetaʔ. Then we had sky, waʔlaʔ, and waʔlaʔan. Waʔlaʔ and waʔlaʔan. We had touch, which is niwit and niwtaʔ. Niwit and niwtaʔ. Then you have people, which was yokuch. Yokuch and yokochi. Yokuch and yokochi. Then we had animals, hogikin, hogikin and hogigna. Hogigna. So let's plug in the words and see if we can figure out where they go. So we have Hayama Aleth, long ago. And that's a common start to a story. So Hayama Aleth, the sky. So we can look down here. We have one that's capital, one that's lowercase. So we're going to take this waʔlaʔ and put it here. So we have waʔlaʔ. Then it says amayo for ant and holgi for the earth. Then we needed the verb for touched each other. And really it's touched. And there's that addition for each other. So if you look on the side, that word was niwit and niwtaʔ. And you could see it just added a wish here. Let's see. The next word that we're missing is the sky again, starting a new sentence. And we've already had that word, so hopefully you recognize it's waʔlaʔ. Then we have a verb, hontetaʔ, was bouncing up and down. And then ama holgyu, there on the land. So you have holgi, but it's on locative form because it became a location. So on the earth becomes holgyu. Then te na'ash, if any, or if person. We're missing the word person here. So we have yokuch, hashawin, and hogignin, or hogigin. So word for that was yokuch. Then we keep going with the story. We have notni for or, and we're missing the word animal, hogigin. Hogigin. Then we have two verbs. We have the manal and tanal, ama. So tried to go through there. Notni, maybe. Aman, they. Na'ash, might. And we only have one word left, and that's our hashawit, hashawita. And this form is hashawin, might be killed. So there we go. There's our missing words for this week for the story. Now that we finished our story, we're going to review our alphabet and vowels that we just learned in the weeks prior. A few important things to remember is that our glottal stop is actually a letter. It comes after A. So an example is shale for rain. It has that fast stop in between those vowels on there. Another thing to remember is that we have an ejective that looks like an apostrophe, and that means that that sound comes to an end faster, or it's ejective. So like on boshon, it ends quickly. It has that little apostrophe at the end. You'll also see it on the end of a W for like the word O, or baonai, it's at the end of that Y, or dalim for the word for trout, or gulo for fence. Also, the glottal stop can be ejective like tai. So it has that stop and then you release that sound. So tai for lake. Or we have it in kosoi for mouse. Or onosh for hand. Or we have it in chawik for poison oak. Here's our sounds. For A, E, I, O, and U are vowels. They always make these sounds. So e, o, u. You could practice going a little faster. E, o, u. E, o, u. E, o, u. E, o, u. So a good little visual representation of the letters that are found. It looks like they repeat themselves in the alphabet, but they're actually slightly different. So L exists as a regular L and then a glottalized L, so it ends quickly. Same thing with Y. You'll see a regular Y and a glottalized Y, and W and N and M. So these glottalized sounds only are at the end of a word or a syllable. These are the letters that you won't find in Chukchansi. So Z, Q, the letter C by itself. It does exist with CH as a digraph, but on its own, we replace that letter C with just using K. And then we don't use V or F. And then R is only in a few words because it's only in borrowed Spanish words, but really in Chukchansi, we do not have an R. And on to the main part of our lesson today are pronouns. To start making these simple Chukchansi sentences, we're going to be using our pronouns, but there's some things that you want to know right off the bat in Chukchansi, and that is words that we do not need to translate. So we don't have a version of this word in Chukchansi because it's not necessary for our language. So any of states of being, so all these like the blue and then all the orange are states of being. So am, is, are, was, were, being, been, and be. Those are all words you don't have to look to translate in Chukchansi. Also, position is associated with the locative in Chukchansi. So we can just eliminate trying to find translation words for to, at, for, by, in, and on. And then a, the, and an are all words that we don't need in Chukchansi to be translated either. At the top of the page, you could see our Chukchansi pronouns and how we translate them. So for the word I, like I want to jump, or I see, or I can climb, we'd use the word na. And if something is happening to I would say me, like the cat touched me, or the sun shined on me. So you're going to use the word nan for that. And for you, if I say like you are tall or you are smart, I'd use ma. But if something is happening to you, like the boy saying to you, I would use the word mom. If you're the one receiving something, it'd be mom. Something is happening to you, mom. And then for he, she, and it, it's all the same pronoun. So ama is used for he, she, or it. Like when he, she, or it is the subject of the sentence, ama. If something is happening to him, her, or it, we say So it's one of the only cases where the object form is shorter than the subject form. So the subject form is na, ma, and ama. And then the object form of all these words, na, mom, or nan, mom, and So that's kind of, just remember that's one of the only words that is the short version, and it's an object form, and the longer version is actually in subject form. So let's go through and try to take this little word bank that I did of verbs and make a sentence. So we have, for number 3, she slept. So I can just look for the word for she, and that would be ama. And then I want the word to sleep. So sleep is Coyote. So I could say ama Coyote for number 3. The cool thing is that we can actually say it both ways. So you could say she slept, and you could use directly ama and then Coyote, or you could switch the words in Chukchansi and it still has the same meaning. So you could have put Coyote first and then ama second. So that's something cool. Number 4, you coughed. So you is the subject. It's going to be ma, and then coughed is ohoyoto. So we put it all together, ma ohoyoto. Or you could switch it. So cough is the first word. So we could do ohoyoto and then ma. Either way, it means the same thing. So for it, remember the same pronoun is used for he, she, or it. So again, we're using ama. And then the word for jump is Halaʔletaʔ. So you could say ama Halaʔletaʔ or Halaʔletaʔ ama. For I, the next one for number 6, I sat. I is na. And then to sit is holoshta. So holoshta na or na holoshta. Either way. Let's pick one with a pronoun we haven't used it. Let's see. I think we haven't done he. So he is also ama. And then number 7, if I go he disappeared, ama, and then I want to find the word for disappear, ohemata. Or you could do ohemata ama. So if you want to pause this, you can practice trying to make the sentences 10 through 14. And remember, you could keep going with putting the pronoun first. So like saying it first and then looking up stayed. Or you could switch it and you could have your word for stayed be the first word you say, and then it could be the second word that you say. A few more examples. So if I wanted to say I cried, na, and then I find the word for cry, waʔletaʔ, waʔletaʔ. So na, waʔletaʔ. Or I could say waʔletaʔ na. For he yawned. For he, I want to use the word ama. And then for yawn, kaʔyuʔ. So ama, kaʔyuʔ, or kaʔyuʔ ama. You could try the other two by yourself if you want to pause. We've had a lot of practice in these sentences with putting the pronoun first and the verb second. So in these, it gives you a chance to go from English or from Chukchansi to putting it back to English. So just remember that the word order, you don't have to translate it just because the verb is in front and the pronoun is in back doesn't mean that's how it would make sense in English. So like number 2, Halaʔletaʔ. So Halaʔletaʔ is to laugh. And then you have the word na. So it says laugh I. But you would need to put that to where it makes sense in English. I laughed. So when that verb comes first, still translate it back to what makes sense in English. Just like we saw in the poster a few slides ago, to make some simple sentences in Chukchansi, you're going to need to ignore some words from English that we just don't need to translate. So these are words like states of being, be, am, is, are, was, were, being, been. So those are essential to make the sentence make sense in English, but they are not used in Chukchansi. So an example is if I wanted to say, she is little. So ama qoliswa. I don't need any word for is. So it ends up being she and little all in one sentence, and you just ignore is. So if I wanted to translate the sentence, I am skinny, I'd just say na for I and chibna for skinny. You don't need to translate anything for the word am. Another example is you are bald. So I'd find a word for you, ma, because that's the subject. And then al-shana is bald. So I don't need a word for are. So ma al-shana is all I need for you and are bald. He is tall. So the pronoun I need for that is the subject form. So ama for he, and then tall is wa'at. So we don't need a word for is. I just need ama wa'at. And the same thing is in the reverse. So if you're going from Chukchansi to English, you do need to add that word for it to make sense in English. So we'll do a couple more of these English sentences that we're translating into Chukchansi. And we're going to disregard those states of being words like is and are and am. So I am big. So I just need to look up I and big. So I is the subject. So I'm going to use na. And then big is koti. So I just need na koti. Or koti na, I could say. Number 2, he is bossy. So I could disregard looking for the word is. And I'm going to know he is ama. And then bossy, amuash. He is bossy. Amuash. Ama, I could say also. Number 3, it is a baby. I don't need is or a to be translated. I just need to find it. So ama, and it's the subject. So I'm not going to choose I'm going to choose ama for the subject form of it. And then baby, I. So ama I or I ama. So you can pause this if you want and just go through and practice translating from English to Chukchansi. And remember, you're going to disregard the states of being words. Here again is practice, but this is Chukchansi to English. So not hoily. Not is fat or I, and hoily is fast. So I am fast. This next one, ama balik. So it could, when you have ama in Chukchansi, you could choose he, she, or it. But the next word gives you a clue because balik is pregnant. So it's going to have to be she is pregnant. And then ma chibna, you, and then chibna is skinny. You are skinny. You got to add that state of being word in English to make it make sense. So don't leave that out when you're translating it back into English. So far, the sentences that we've been working with have pronouns in the subject form. So we use na, ma, and ama. But now we also want to practice making sentences where we're using the object form of these pronouns. So something is happening to nan, mom, or Something is happening to that pronoun, and they're receiving whatever the verb is in the sentence. They're getting verbed. So the duck chased you. What, I wallet. And then I want the version of you when something is happening to you. You're the object. So I'm going to use the word mom. For number 2, the eagle saw her. T'ashit wushul. And then I want the word for her, but as an object. So I'm going to choose the word The dog saw me. Tashit checha. And then I'm going to use the word for me, something happening in the object form. So that would be mom. Or the coyote touched it. Kaʔyuʔ potit I'm going to give you a chance to continue to practice using the object form of pronouns. So the object forms for I, if you're talking about something happening to me, it'd be nan. If you want to talk about what's happening to you, something happening to you, or what would be the word to replace for you. So it'd be mom. And then if you're talking about him, her, or it, something happening to it, it'd be Then we have 3 verbs that we're going to use. We have chase, yaiwalit, or yaiwalta. See is tashit, or taishta, or touch, potit, or poto. So those are the verbs that you'll see in these sentences, just so that you can figure out what these sentences say. So we'll try number 1. The cat saw you. Tashit gadu, and we need you, but in the object form, something happening to it. It's getting seen by the cat. So instead of ma, we're going to choose mum. Number 2, the bear chased me. Yaiwalit noho. So me in the object form is none, because it's getting chased by the bear. Number 3, the dog touched it. So we have potit for touch and checha. We're missing it, but we're missing in the object forms. It's getting touched by the dog, so we need Let's see if you could figure out the next one. The deer saw her, so we need a version of her, either ama or which one is best? Tashit choy should be that missing word for her. And then number 5, the mountain lion chases you. Yaiwalit maheshit. And then I need the form for you. That's the object. So am I going to choose ma or mom? Mom. 2 more translations into Chukchansi using the object form. The skunk saw you. So the word for skunk, we could either choose soch or sochi. In this case, we're going to use soch. And then the word for see is in past tense. We could use ta'ishta. And then I need a word for you. So should I choose ma or mom? And because something is happening to you, you're getting seen by the skunk, we're going to choose mom. So soch, ta'ishta, mom. And you could mix those words up any way you like. And then the fox touched me. So the word for fox is autja, and the word for touch is poto. So then you just need the word for me. None. Autja, poto, none. If you want more practice with pronouns, there's 2 games that I made. So one has pronouns in the subject form. So that's na, ma, and ama. And then the other game is pronouns in the object form. So that would be nan, mom, and So if you want to continue to practice that some more, you could scan these QR codes and play the games. Mitch guys, thank you for watching this week's class, and hopefully you'll hop on for the next one.